Hello and welcome. Recently undo feature was added to MoonHug editor, and today I'll show this new feature, new panel, explain how it was made and why it's a reliable and scalable solution for growing functionality. So first of all, I would like to say it's editor only undo and redo for value edits and hierarchy changes. And for use it in application, it doesn't really use any undo, so it's editor only, compiled into editor binary, not the app. But for components to work cleanly with undo during authoring stage, existing rules are required. So you have to implement cleanup T, so default survive, delete, and undo round trip. Short explanation that cleanup T should deallocate types data and call component 0, self on self. This one actually not needed, but it can be done. So when we undo, onValidate also will be called and can bring back the valid state of the object. Then we also have history view. It's a special panel I will show, and there are keyboard shortcuts. It's usual Ctrl-Z, Ctrl-Y, and Ctrl-Shift-Z. Also, when a view history is focused, it listens to up, down, and enter. Let me show it in action. So here we have some usual scene. There are only one object, but I can change some of its properties. So if I Command Z right now, it will bring back, and if I Command Shift Z, it will redo changes. And if I press here, up and down, I can walk up the history. It's enabled from here. And can jump to specific history step. Also double click, it does same thing, so keyboard is not required. Also we have buttons for the mouse, undo, redo, and clear. Clear removes all the steps, pretty self-explanatory. If we pay attention, it also affects all of these items inside components. If I Command Z, they will go back, and even for deep nested hierarchies, it is supported. And if I, for example, move objects in scene, also supported. If we pick inside, we can see what is actually saved. So it's not secret info. And actually this panel is good for debug. Usually users don't see it. Unity also has it, but I don't think they have this information. So if I change value here, you will see that step has old state and new state. And now I will go back and I will talk a bit about how it was made. First of all, I've chosen this task from to-do list because it was one of the major pain points of that time. It was not fun at all to fix accidental misclicks, manually restore previous state. And there were already some prior steps made that made implementation simpler. First of all, I wrote memory guide mentioned in previous videos, and there will be additional video about it. Then cleanup T functions were added. They are essential to this feature. And also I got experience developing previous features. It's also important. The undo feature itself, it was a new task for me. I didn't implement it previously, but from OP knowledge, I knew undo can be achieved by making a list of commands. Each would hold two opposite do undo procedures. And little did I know this was only half of the puzzle. Okay, so with all that knowledge, I wanted to have some reliable direction that can be proven to work even if it had bugs and looked like broken in the middle of the process. When I develop new feature, I usually find some narrow turn point that can be tweaked and pivoted around. So I didn't want to have a giant, big, unknown task ahead of me. So usually seeking for a simple place that can be improved. And for undo, I didn't know it immediately, so I went and spent a few hours fiddling with naive design without solid understanding. So I approached this task, I didn't know how to do it, so only part of it. And while I was implementing it, in the back of my mind I constantly thought, to solve something complex, divide it into similar smaller pieces. If one piece can be solved, whole problem can be solved by repeating it. Example to it is making something to move upstairs. So stairs consist of individual stair elements. If you can make it move up one stair and then repeat same action n times, then this allows moving up to the top of the stairs. And so after some time fiddling with code, narrow place for tweaking became clear to me. So the trick was all data I had were transforms and components. In other words, covering undo for transforms and components would cover all of current editor's data. And this data is serialized. So missing part I was not aware of was serialization. So list of do undo commands plus serialization equaled undo feature in this case. Well, it actually also from different places I know that replay feature is implemented sometimes by saving each frame data and then scrubbing playhead at player's command to see replay in action. But saving full scene on each change would be overkill for editor functionality, so it had to be more granular. In my case, minimal units were transform and component. So the smaller unit component was a good candidate. Its data can be complex and unpredictable, and that's why it also must implement cleanup T for setting it to zero state, excluding base comp data. When editing anything within component, all that is needed is serialize old state, change some values here, serialize new state, and this gives us 2 points before and after, like old and new, which can be deserialized right into this component. And it's also reliable because serialization of these components is like a core feature of the editor. And that's it. Is this memory efficient? No. Is it easy and covers editing values in potentially all components? Yes. With that said, some operations work better without serialization. For structural changes, add, remove, reparent, reorder, they also change existence of objects and pool. So when we remove something, it stops existing. So there is Generation of it is increased in the pool. It's a serious step, so it cannot be done only by serializing something. So it's a special kind of undo operation. And there is also group command. It's a list of multiple other commands under same undo redo step. So we write something like, yeah, group command. So we write something like undo begin group command, undo end group command, and everything in between will be grouped into one big undo. Well, key takeaway for the user is that they can implement cleanup T, and it already supports everything they need. You can Control Z, Command Z, and so on. That's probably all. It was a big step, and I'm happy it was done. It's not all that was implemented. I will cover it in next videos. The heavy work is happening on prefabs, prefab overrides, nested prefabs, and so on. So here is a sneak peek for next video. We can revert it, the colors and so on, and instantiate it. So yeah. See you later. Bye.